My name's Paul Flansburgh. I'm a lifelong resident of the Rochester, New York area. I was working for a local manufacturer in Huntay Falls. I was actually working in quality assurance as a contract employee, but they loved me there. I actually was in pretty good shape because one of my previous interim jobs was working for the YMCA. I'd work really early in the morning, and then I'd work in the afternoon. I'd have that big gap during the day. So what I'd do is I would work out, and I was in really good shape, and it was, doctors will say that it could have been what saved my life, the fact that I was in such good shape during the accident. My accident was on February 5th, 2011. It was on a Saturday, and I had such a good day planned. It was the day before the Super Bowl, and I was gonna actually I was on my way to go cross-country skiing because there was enough snow on the road, and after that I was gonna head to my brother's in Syracuse and spend the night there. Then I was gonna come back to Rochester on Sunday and watch Super Bowl Sunday in my friend Mike's brand new living room. I was T-boned from the side, and as my cognitive therapist explained to me, I had one of those things called a coup and a contre coup. I guess it's kind of like a whiplash, but on the side, so the brain which floats in your skull smashed on one side of my skull and then the other side, and that, as a result, I was diagnosed with severe traumatic brain injury at the scene. I remember being conscious, but I couldn't open my eyes. And so people would be talking to me, and I remember being conscious and being able to respond, but still not being able to see. And I knew it was because my eyes were closed. But yeah, that was one of the things, one of the experiences. But because I had some reassuring voices, I was, through the process, I know I was surrounded by a loving family and friendship that made a lot of difference for me. I remember waking up in the hospital, and I have some really close friends and relatives, and I call him my best cousin Derek said, "Paul, you're in the hospital, you were in a car accident, but you'll be fine. You'll be better than you were before." So I heard that and I said, okay, I was in an accident, but I'll be better than I was before, so I'll be fine. and you know, I trusted that, and as a result, that was part of my motivation through the whole process in recovery. Because I intended to not be impaired. I thought I could work back beyond my impairment. So that was part of my intention. I was actually, I guess I was I was out for 20 days, and I remember waking up in ICU, and I spent some time in ICU before they put me in step-down ICU, and then from step-down ICU I came into the rehab facility here, and I think I entered here. Jeez, I can't remember when. It was probably end of March, or maybe mid-March. I can't remember how long. It's interesting because that's when I had to start really focusing on what I could do. I don't recall in ICU or step-down ICU anyone working with me, for example, with speech. But I certainly remember speech therapy in recovery, in particular because one of the challenges of my condition, I couldn't swallow. So at least if I did, there was a risk of aspirating. I remember occupational therapy also involved my ability to dress and undress. And it was, it was kind of funny because I remember before the accident, it wasn't hard, but after the accident, this is not easy. Well, one of the things that was given to me was a diary. And I remember telling, I can't remember the name of the therapist at the time, but I remember telling her, I don't like doing these things, I'm not really good at it. And I gave it, I guess, a college try, but it seemed like I couldn't get very far. So, and she encouraged me to write down things like questions I would have for like relative to my condition for the doctor, and which I thought was good because it kind of laid the foundation for me to I guess advocate for myself, but to exercise my ability to function in ways that occupational therapy trains you to. So that was good. Mm-hmm. So I had what I understand is a flat affect. In other words, I tend to be an expressive guy, and I remember for a while in certainly in step-down ICU, and then probably for a while in rehab, I had a flat affect still. So my therapist would say, I know you're more expressive than this. She put it in more friendly terms. I'm trying to remember. But so work on being expressive. So when you say things, don't, and I was saying things with kind of a fatigue all the time. And so she said, so inflect your voice. If you're happy, inflect that. Try to work on that. So I did. And it didn't take long, I don't think. So my gosh, that was actually something we worked on that was cognitive therapy. Yeah. When I remember my first evaluation outside the hospital, so it was 6 months from my evaluation here with Dr. Wager. I would have to visit him again as an outpatient 6 months subsequent to the result and go through an entire evaluation again. After that, he suggested that I would go into an outpatient cognitive therapy rehab. I didn't think I needed it. Remember I said I had a flat affect before? I don't think I have a flat affect anymore, do I? Anyway, and I remember my first visit with Heather, who's fantastic, and she could tell I was skeptical. Their best guess was that there were certain impairments that could be worked on that could be improved, and I wasn't so aware of those deficits. And part of the thing was, as I'm going through life and things are really comfortable and unchallenging, when I'm not challenged, it doesn't seem, the impairments don't seem to be there. It's only the first impairment that I recall saying to Heather was, I don't send emails. She worked on it, and before I know it, I was sending out emails. And thanks to discovering the iPad here, and I use it all the time, and now it's my spare brain. I carry it with me everywhere. So you're confronted with a problem, and you're trying to fix it. You're trying to deal with that problem. So figure out strategies to deal with that problem. If I consider myself in a state of recovery, then I'm fully acknowledging that I have an impairment, but that I'm working on it. And so I'm always in the position of being proactive. The experience of my recovery has been so good. I'll tell everyone, if they ask a question, don't you wish you could be back to where you was? I'll say no, because I've grown so much in the process of my recovery. I don't want to lose all that, you know. So.
Yep.
Actually, I've since spoken to the guy that put me in the ambulance, because I went to thank him. He said, "You made my year," because he said, when I closed the door, I didn't think we'd see you again.